Welcome back to Read to Me, Matt Dunn. I'm Matt Dunn, and I'm going to read to you. We're reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Jane Austen, everybody. Chapter 2. Mr. Bennet was among the earliest of those who waited on Mr. Bingley. He had always intended to visit him, to the last always assuring his wife that he should not go. Until the evening after the visit was paid, she had no knowledge of it. It was then disclosed in the following manner. Observing his second daughter employed in trimming a hat, he suddenly addressed her with, "I hope Mr. Bingley will like it, Lizzie." "We are not in a way to know what Mr. Bingley likes," said her mother resentfully, "since we are not to visit." "But you forget, Mamma," said Elizabeth, "that we shall meet him at the assemblies, and that Mrs. Long has promised to introduce him." "I do not believe Mrs. Long will do any such thing. She has 2 nieces of her own. She is a selfish, hypocritical woman, and I have no opinion of her." "No more have I," said Mr. Bennet, "and I am glad to find that you do not depend on her serving you." Mrs. Bennet designed not to make any replies, but unable to contain herself, began scolding one of her daughters. "Don't keep coughing so, Kitty, for heaven's sake. Have a little compassion on my nerves. You tear them to pieces." "Kitty has no discretion in her coughs," said her father. "She times them ill." "I do not cough for my own amusement," replied Kitty fretfully. "When is your next ball to be, Lizzie?" "Tomorrow fortnight." "Aye, so it is," cried her mother. "And Mrs. Long does not come back till the day before, so it will be impossible for her to introduce him, for she will not know him herself." "Then, my dear, you may have the advantage of your friend and introduce Mr. Bingley to her." "Impossible, Mr. Bennet, impossible. When I am not acquainted with him myself, how can you be so teasing?" I honor your circumspection. A fortnight's acquaintance is certainly very little. One cannot know what a man really is by the end of a fortnight. But if we do not venture, somebody else will. And after all, Mrs. Long and her nieces must stand their chance, and therefore, as she will think it an act of kindness, if you could decline the offer, I will take it on myself. The girls stared at their father. Mrs. Bennet said only, "Nonsense, nonsense." "What can be the meaning of that emphatic exclamation?" cried he. "Do you consider the forms of introduction and the stress that is laid on them as nonsense?" "I cannot quite agree with you there. What say you, Mary? For you are a young lady of deep reflection, I know, and read great books and make extracts." Mary wished to say something very sensible, but knew not how. "While Mary is adjusting her ideas," he continued, "let us return to Mr. Bingley." Honestly, this father seems like kind of a dick. He might be logical or reasoning or whatever this character is, but he is just throwing it in everyone's fucking face. Like, while my daughter's over here being stupid, I'm gonna finish my fucking idea. Ya bitch. This dude, I'm telling you. I am sick of Mr. Bingley, cried his wife. I'm sorry to hear that. But why did not you tell me so before? If I had known as much this morning, I certainly would not have called on him. It is very unlucky, but as I have actually paid the visit, we cannot escape the acquaintance now. The astonishment of the ladies was just what he wished. That of Mrs. Bennet perhaps surpassing the rest, though when the first tumult of joy was over, she began to declare that it was what she had expected all the while. I get it. He's not being a dick. He was like surprising them. It's like, well, shut your fucking mouth. I got you a gift. Okay. I get it. How good it was in you, my dear Mr. Bennet, but I knew I should persuade you at last. Oh, God. This bitch now. It was my idea. I told you. God, just shut the fuck up. Nobody should be opening their mouths, really. All these people, they deserve each other. It was fucking all of them. I was sure you loved your girls too well to neglect such an acquaintance. Well, how pleased am I? I am. And it is such a good joke, too, that you should have gone this morning and never said a word about it till now. Now, Kitty, you may cough as much as you choose, said Mr. Bennet, and as he spoke he left the room, fatigued with the rapture of his wife. What an excellent father you have, girls, she said when the door was shut. I do not know how you will ever make him amends for his kindness. Or me either, for that matter. At our time of life it is not so pleasant, I can tell you, to be making new acquaintance every day, but for your sakes we would do anything. Lydia, my love, though you are the youngest, I dare say Mr. Bingley will dance with you at the next ball. Oh, said Lydia stoutly. I'm not afraid, for though I am the youngest, I am the tallest. The rest of the evening was spent in conjecturing how soon he would return Mr. Bennet's visit, and determining when they should ask him to dinner. Woo! It's gonna get hot on that dance floor, or the ball floor. There's gonna be sweating balls. So they're all just kind of like, bachelors coming to town. We're getting ready. It's kind of like the Cinderella situation. I guess, and they're all like, I'm prettier than you. I'm prettier than you. I'm going to get him. $10 says it's going to be me. But to be honest, if I really do win, you don't owe me the money because I'll be the rich one. And really, you'll need that money. You're a loser. Because no matter what, when you lose, you're losing even more. Now, if you'd like for me to keep reading, please check out more of my videos. You could like this one, you can subscribe, or you can write some comments down below, and then we'll be friends, I promise. Because we're already friends. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Beep, boop, beep.